is not wrong in saying no to recommendation of the government. That's
The governor does have the power. Now you referred to Gujarat. That's a
yes.
very interesting situation because you see the whole situation is a little fluid. It has to go up to the Supreme Court now. In Gujarat, what happened is that the Chief Justice and the other parties, the scrutiny parties or the recommendatory parties, they recommended the name of the present incumbent. The Chief Minister did not agree, and therefore effectively the government did not recommend that name. Now that post was kept vacant for as long as 7 years, and the governor finally said, as the constitutional head of the state, it is also my responsibility to see that that post is filled. Now if this kind of deadlock is being created, I have got to find a way out of the deadlock. And therefore the governor has used, she used her own discretion and she made the appointment. But in doing so, she said that at least 2 out of the 3 parties have recommended the name. Now the big question is does the governor have the right or the power to bypass the government in a matter like this? But in the special circumstances of the case, I mean most of the legal experts support the view of the governor that if there is a deliberate attempt at filibustering and keeping the post vacant, then the governor would be justified.
So there is a possibility that Governor Bharadwaj can appoint a Lok Ayuktha himself.
To my mind, he does have the power, but he is probably waiting to see what the view of the Supreme Court would be in Gujarat. That is one aspect.
Yes.
Because
Yes, yeah.
the other aspect is, I will say this because this is official. I wrote a letter to the governor, and this was more than 2 months back, in which I suggested to him, I said, look, if the argument is, because one of the politicians made a statement that all the judges who are here are plot holders in the judicial layout, so therefore all of them are under this handicap apart from anything else. So therefore what do we do? Now that wasn't 100% right, because Justice Santosh Hegde and I are the only 2 who don't have plots there. That's not the point. Now I wrote to the governor and pointed out to him, I said, look, a retired Chief Justice or a retired Supreme Court judge does not necessarily have to be from this state. And my view of the matter is that having regard to the problems that we are facing in this state, particularly caste considerations, it would be eminently desirable to choose a judge from outside. And why shouldn't this be
What
done?
has been the response?
I said, why don't you? Now the governor replied to me in which he said that I can accept a recommendation, I can refuse a recommendation, but he says it may be misunderstood if I were to suggest anything. Now I pointed out, I said, Your Excellency, you are not saying I would suggest X, Y, or Z. I said that may be misunderstood. But if you say that if you are pleading problems within the state, look to the rest of the country.
You
What
don't
is the
name
problem?
anybody,
Yeah,
but look
yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Justice Saldana, I think both of you should say something little about. Now I'm coming to the point. You have launched a Save Lok Ayuktha campaign. How do you propose to ensure that the institution Lok Ayuktha gets back onto the rail at the earliest? What is your plan of action? Let him speak and let me.
Well, our plan of action is to ensure that we get the right candidate for the post of Lok Ayukta and Upa Lok Ayukta, and we will see it through. One is the time factor, because we will address the Chief Minister and request him to see to it that a suitable candidate is recommended within a specified time frame. If it does not happen, then we will go to the High Court. And if we don't get the relief from the High Court all through, I can assure you this much, that we have 100% public support.
That's good.
Because the feedback is we have 100% public support. There is no area of the citizenry, high or low, in the state of Karnataka, or for that matter in the country, who supports the view that this very vital institution should be headless.
Yeah. Agreeing to what the Justice said, I want to focus on the strength of the institution and the integrity of the institution. See, this campaign is not just for finding a suitable Lok Ayukta or Lok Ayukta of impeccable integrity. together with that, we are worried about the institution itself, because there is a systematic weakening of the institution going on, which the common man cannot understand. See, the transferring of the officers who are on investigation, and then putting officers who on whom the Lokayukta himself has given
I'll
reports.
come to that, madam.
Yeah.
I'll come to that.
Yeah.
A short break here. On written, let me ask you about, this is what I'm going to ask you.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
written, let me ask you whether your campaign focuses only on just one demand, that is the return of the the early appointment of the Lokayukta, or there are some more. That is what you discussed, I think,
Yeah.
in this square. Highly